Welcome to CS 105.1, where I talk about sports and movies with good vibes. And I've got some good vibes tonight because the Nuggets finally got a win in the regular season. Let's get into it. I couldn't do this podcast without my amazing equipment, so I'd like to give a shout out to Røde for the Røde Pod Mic USB, as well as Insta360 for the webcam link that I'm using, as well as Nanlite for all of the studio lighting that I have here. What is up, everyone? So, wow, finally the Nuggets got a win. Like, they scratched and clawed and fought as hard as they could to finally get this one, and it wasn't pretty. It should have been a lot easier of a win. A lot of people I know discounted the Toronto Raptors, but the Raptors aren't going away. Like, I know they're still not a great team, but they aren't a horrible team, and they've kind of showed it a little bit here. And so, see, they won 127 to 125 in overtime. And man, I can't tell you how disheartened I was towards the end of the fourth quarter. I just felt like, okay, they're gonna lose and they're gonna go 0-3, and I was just begging for something good to happen for the Nuggets. And in like the last 2 minutes, they really fought as hard as they could to whittle down the Raptors' lead and finally solidify an overtime and then go in and get that win. But yeah, and then also nice that they won because Colorado needed a win regardless, and the Avs lost tonight. And so it was nice to see that the Nuggets were able to get Colorado a win today. I know the Avs won yesterday along with the Broncos, which was pretty awesome. And so the Broncos kicked butt, actually. And Avs actually kicked butt, too. I think it was like 5-1 yesterday. Avs had been on a 4 or 5 streak. It was a 5-streak winning streak. So, all good things will come to an end eventually. So, it sucks that they lost tonight, but at least they had that win streak. Now it's time for the Nuggets to go on a winning streak. We need some more W's, and tonight was a good start. Wasn't a pretty start, like I said, but just gotta inch baby steps. We're gonna make it happen. And a lot of people have already discounted the Nuggets after 2 losses, especially after the one loss against the Thunder. I don't know why people are discounting the Nuggets losing to the Thunder, because that's actually a little bit of like a diss at the Thunder, if anything. They were the 1 seed last year. I mean, it was by just like a technicality that they won the series against the regular season series against the Nuggets, that they were able to get that. But we had the same record as them last season. So, and we were 1-2. So for them to win over us, like, it's not actually a crazy thing. Now, if it was our first game home opener facing like the Raptors or the Nets, and they won by like 20 points, then that's cause for concern in the very first game. But this was a match against the Thunder, who is a previous 1 seed. So I don't know why people were already overreacting about that. And then the Clippers come in, and they win against us. But their win was a lot more marginal than the Thunder's win against us was. Both were at home. And the suckiest thing about that is the fact that Colorado is rated as the toughest place to go into as an opposing team, and both teams showed up and were like, "Let's discount that right now. Hold my beer," And so far, both the Avs and the Nuggets haven't been a great home team. Been a lot of losses, but the season continues. There's still plenty of more games. I mean, it's an 82 season game, y'all. 82 games. Like, if you think that one team is down and out in the very beginning of the season, when there's 82 left, like, you've got to hold on. This is a long season. It's going to be a long season, and it's going to be some difficult times. And I feel like also people don't focus on what's happened in the past. They think that, okay, let's see who's winning right now. Okay, this team's going to be really good. Freaking Lakers are 1 seeds right now. You think that's going to last? It ain't going to last. The Lakers are going to fall down that ladder. I promise you they are going to fall down that ladder. All the Lakers fans, enjoy it right now, but your time is going to go down. I promise you. It's going to be between OKC, the Nuggets, and maybe the Timberwolves will scratch out something. And if John Morant can maintains some kind of healthiness, I think the Grizzlies will be up in there. But I mean, overall, the West is a contender. It's a mess. It's super difficult to win in the West right now, anyway. So, but this is early season. There are teams that are going to start off on a rocky season, and their second half is going to be phenomenal. If anything has proven that, it's the Mavericks last year. Everyone thought they were going to be a nobody team, and yet here we are, and they were in the finals as a 5th seed. So never discount just from the few couple of games. Like it annoys me so much, especially these media people who have done this for years. They know not to discount them, but they say all this stuff to bring the views and the comments and get people talking and all riled up. But like, I don't discount anyone right now when we only are 4 or 5 games into the season. Like, we're good. We're good. Let's keep on watching. And when we start to get into about February, March, that's when you can start to worry a little bit. Even then, maybe end of May or end of March. So, but it was another ugly game from the Nuggets. I'm going to say that out right now. I love my Nuggets so much that I want to also be honest about my Nuggets. I'm not going to, say, oh, they had a great game. They blew out the Toronto Raptors and everything. Like, no. We were pretty much even neck and neck the entire game. And the Raptors were even able to pull ahead and get a 15, 17 point lead at one point. Oh man, that was gross. But the one thing that's going to continue to be a woe for the Nuggets is the bench. It's just, we have one of the worst benches in the league, and it's really exhausting and frustrating as a Nuggets fan to see how horrible the bench is. A lot of people have said, well, it's not about adding CB as a starter. He's great as a starter. The issue is more of the fact that you didn't really replace anyone or replace him with anyone in the bench. And I kind of agree with that. I mean, we got Russell Westbrook in, who's kind of been, up and down. He's not really phenomenal right now. He hasn't really increased the bench level. They've gotten some good minutes out of him, but, there's been a lot of ugly minutes too so far. We were hoping that P-Watt would have a better start, and I know he got injured and he missed training camp and preseason and everything, and so he's kind of jumping into this, not having had all that time with everyone else on the floor. But he has to step up right now. He's not playing at a level that we all know that he can play at. He had a couple of good plays tonight, just a couple. I mean, he had 6 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. He missed a dunk. It is so frustrating to see when they miss a dunk. Like, it was, he just pulled back way too far. And so then when he tried to put it in, there was no ball in his hand and it flew off. And so and that's happened before with him last season. So it'd be nice to just see him kind of control the ball more when he goes up for it. And definitely the second time he went for a dunk, he kind of learned a little bit, I think, there. But he also he had a turnover, and I don't think bench players can really afford to have any turnovers. Kind of like if you're gonna let your defense game suffer, then when your offense comes around, you need to be extra better on offense. Or if your offense isn't going to be good, then you need to back it up with good defense. And right now, we're not getting either from the bench. From Peyton Watson. Oh my God, Dario Saric was horrendous tonight. I was worried when we picked him up because I didn't really see anything that wowed me last season from him when he was on the Warriors. And if anything, I felt like played better with the Warriors than he's doing with the Nuggets right now. And I don't know if it's maybe just like he's not in sync with everyone, but he is just slow and sluggish, does a lot of ball watching, and is very, very clumsy right now. It's like he's all thumbs. And I just hope that they really, they're going in tomorrow against the Nets, the Brooklyn Nets, which is also not a great rated team. And so I hope that he gets the rest that he needs or whatever it is, take his vitamins, get some coffee, whatever it is that will amp him up to be better tomorrow than he was today and has been so far the regular season. I mean, there were some decent moments that we had in the preseason with him, but so far in the regular season when it actually counts, he's been a no-show, man. And it was evident, too, because Michael Malone removed him after the first half. And I'm so glad that he did. He started putting Aaron Gordon as the center, as the 5 and everything, and which is what he did last season, too. Which is also kind of frustrating because Dario Saric came in as the backup 5 to Nikola Jokic. And now he's reverting back to using Aaron Gordon more, who is a starter. And now it's kind of going down this hill of him overworking the starters, which is what we complained about last season of not being able to push past the T-Wolves. There has to be an answer for these issues, and the biggest answer right now is that our bench needs to get better. We need to be, they need to be more reliable, so that Malone isn't put into a corner of just using his starters. And that's kind of what he did tonight. This game completely felt like a championship or a playoff kind of game. I know the Toronto Raptors are just going to be defending home court. And of course, no one wants to lose, and you don't want to lose at home. But I kind of feel like the Nuggets had more to lose in this game than the Raptors have. We really needed this win, and so it was nice to see that. Again, there's a lot to improve on. So let's get into the stats here. We have Michael Porter Jr. at 13 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 block. He was 6 for 12 from the field goal, so 50%. He was 1 for 4 on 3 points, which was nice to see him actually start to shoot still. Because that previous game, I think, what was it, against the Clippers, he just totally was uncharacteristic of MPJ and got shy and started passing the ball to other people. We want to see him shoot because I know eventually he's going to make buckets. He is a very good shooter, despite what all the haters say. They always say they want to trade him and everything. Hell no. I don't want to trade MPJ. I don't want to trade Jamal Murray. I know they've done some, boneheaded plays this season so far, and they're not up to their caliber that we know that they are. But we as Nuggets Nation need to support our guys, and we need to know that they need to know that we have their back. And I definitely am very supportive of our starters. They all are amazing, and they need to just stay locked in, help out Jokic, really. So he was 25% from 3 points, which isn't great for him, but at least he did get a shot in today. I hope that helps his confidence so that tomorrow we see a lot more buckets made from him. And he was also, I think at one point he got a lot of the starters actually got kind of fed up with just how aggressive the Toronto Raptors were. They were very aggressive, y'all. If you didn't see this game, the Toronto Raptors almost felt like the early 90s Detroit Pistons, the bad boy Pistons. Like, they were bullying the Nuggets so hard. Like, the Nuggets kept on getting into the bonus, and I feel like there was even additional fouls that were very crucial to the game that should have been called that were not called. And it got to the point where it actually got heated on the floor between Scotty Barnes and both AG and Westbrook, all because of some Westbrook kind of pulling him down when he was trying to go up for a layup and everything, and he didn't like that, and it got really heated. Like, cool it, Scotty Barnes. Like, to think that you're the only one who's ever been put in that situation, like, it happens so often. Get over it. Move on with the plays. Like, he just got way over dramatically, and he started throwing a tantrum. I enjoy the Raptors. I'm not hating against the Raptors at all. Like, they're one of my more favorite teams, especially because y'all have Bruce Brown on your team, who is going to be a Nugget for life, regardless of which team he's on. Like, we really love Bruce Brown in Denver, and so Brucey B, but so I like the Raptors. I also really like that a lot of their culture is very similar to Denver's culture, and so I like them. And I typically do like Scotty Barnes and RJ Barrett, but Scotty Barnes was throwing a tantrum, and it just really annoyed me and kind of threw me off, because, like, what are you doing, Scotty? Like, cool it. There's still plenty more game left to do. I don't know why he had to throw a tantrum like that. And I know people are like, well, if you weren't in that situation, you would do the same. Like, no, like, you gotta be more level-headed and think, use your head, essentially. Like, Jokic used to be like that, and now you don't see that too often from him, and he's been better for it. And I think that's just the level of maturity versus immaturity. And Scotty Barnes is still very young and immature about shit. So, but going back to stats here, MPJ, he had 1 turnover and 3 personal fouls. So those 3 personal fouls definitely came when he started to get more aggressive. And unfortunately, the only person who didn't have a turnover tonight was Jamal Murray, which is phenomenal. Like, if anyone needed not to have a turnover, it was definitely him, because he needed to prove something tonight. And especially, he's there in his home, not necessarily, I don't want to say hometown, because he's from a little ways away from Toronto, but it is that area he grew up in a little bit, so his family was all there. And so he definitely wanted to prove something, and I'm glad that he didn't have any turnovers. I wish that no one had turnovers from the Nuggets tonight, but, if you had to have them, then at least it wasn't him. And then Aaron Gordon, he got a double-double, Mr. Nugget, and he also got the Defensive Player of the Game chain from Malone tonight, which was awesome. Like, he definitely deserves it. Which, side note here, that Defensive Player chain, if you haven't seen it, is legit. They really went all out this season for those chains. Last season, it looked like it was made out of plastic, and now it's like all diamond out and like actual metal. It's pretty legit. So he was awarded that, and rightfully so. He was a beast in the defense. He was like one of our main defense focused players tonight, and so I was happy to see him get rewarded for that. He had 16 points, 11 rebounds, 8 assists. He almost got a triple-double. Like, that's awesome to see. Like, I was hoping that he would have kind of like a breakout this season, because he deserves it, especially with everything that he's gone through. Losing your brother, losing a sibling is not easy. I know from experience. So I'm really rooting for him to really have a phenomenal season. I wanted him to, even be recognized as an all-star. That would be amazing to see Aaron Gordon as an all-star. So fingers crossed, Mr. Nugget makes it. He had 11 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 blocks, and 2 steals and 1 block. He was 4 from 8 from field goals, 2 from 2 from 3 points, and he was 6 for 8 in free throws. He missed just 2. And then, unfortunately, the one downside to Gordon's game tonight was that he had 5 turnovers. Now, I would argue that some of those turnovers, though, should have been fouls. Because there was one that they were bullying him underneath the basket, and it wasn't called a foul at all. But they were getting rough with him to the point where he actually got upset, and you could see that he was getting upset. And of course, rightly so, he was getting upset. He was getting knocked around, actual arms, fists throwing around and hitting his arms, hitting his face and everything. He was getting swarmed by the Raptors, and it looked like a scene out of Jurassic Park, but he they didn't call those, and it was really frustrating as a fan to see him get bullied like that. But he's tough as nails, so he fought back, and he just kind of used it. He didn't do what a Scotty Barnes did and start throwing a tantrum. He bottled it up and used it as a force to take it out in the rim. So he had also 2 personal fouls. And then we move to our main man, Nikola Jokic, who got 40 points tonight. Another second game where he went 40 plus on points. And then he finally got a double-double, which was awesome. And so he had 10 rebounds. So we had 2 players with the double-double, which is awesome. And then he had 4 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks, 8. He was 18 from 27 from field goal range, 3 for 5 in 3-point range. So I'm really, really glad that he's starting to take more threes, because last season that was definitely a frustration, knowing that he can be a good 3-point shot maker. To see him just kind of his confidence level in 3 points last season was surprisingly low, and I'm really glad to see him starting to shoot it more. Though there was one moment there where he should have gone for the 3 points, but then decided to cut to the rim and try to get a foul in there. The ball didn't go in. He did get the foul called, but the ball didn't go in, so it wasn't like an and one. So I wish that he would have just taken the 3-point, because he definitely could have. They left him wide open too. And then he had 3 turnovers, so not great, but. And then he had 2 personal fouls. Then we get on to Christian Braun, who had 17 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. He was 6 from 11 from field goal range, 1 for 4 in 3-point range. He was 4 for 4 in free throws, 1 turnover, and 3 personal fouls. So kind of similar to the previous games, he's definitely stepping up. He's definitely showing that he can be a starter, and that we don't need to miss KCP so much. The one thing I, again, will say is that he was very needed on the bench for them to succeed. And now that they don't have him anymore, someone needs to step up in the bench area, because it's just getting out of hand. Then we move on to Jamal Murray, Blue Arrow, had 17 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 steal. He was 6 for 20 in field goal range, so not great. But not everyone's going to have a phenomenal game every single game. He was 0 for 2 in 3 points, which is a little uncharacteristic of him. He's usually very good in those. But at least he's trying. I will say that. I definitely saw some aspect of Jamal's game tonight that showed that he was trying. Maybe it was because his family was there. I don't know, but there was something in him that showed that actually, you could see it on him that he was trying. He went down to below the fuel line of how much he had to give tonight. He was if his leg was blown off, he was still going to crawl to try to get to that win. He was huffing and puffing, but he made it work, and he made the very important shot at the fourth quarter and end of the fourth quarter that tied it up and allowed us to go into overtime. So, say what you will, Jamal Murray, but I will say that he is the one of the main reasons why we won tonight. If it wasn't for his shot at the end, they would have lost. So he had 0 turnovers, but he had 2 personal fouls. So, and that's the other thing too that I love about Jamal Murray. He always owns up to the personal fouls. You see a lot of players that they'll start shaking their head, they'll get upset when they know that they did a personal foul, and they're just trying to pass it off like they don't know. Like they know. And Jamal Murray is very good about owning up to things. As soon as he does something, he's just already raising his hand, like, "Yep, that was me. My bad." Like he knows. And then we get to the bench. Dear God, we get to the bench. Julian Strother had a phenomenal summer league. He had a phenomenal preseason. He was he made the most points out of the entire league. This is like we're talking about the entire league. That's including Jason Tatum. That's including LeBron James. That's including Anthony Davis. That's including Jaylen Brown. That's including Kevin Durant. Like everyone. That's even including Nikola Jokic. I mean, I can't really say that Luka because he didn't really play in the preseason, but everyone who was playing in the preseason, Julian Strother made the most points out of all of them. And then we get into regular season, and it's a completely different Strother. I don't know what's going on, but now before he was having 30-plus point games. Now he's barely able to make double-digit figures. And so he had 9 points, 2 rebounds. He was 3 for 3 from field goals. So, it would be nice to see him try to make more. But I guess if you keep the amount of shots you get off to a low amount and you still make them, then it looks like you're actually have a good percentage. And then he was also 2 for 2 and 3 points, so he had some big buckets there. That was 2 more that he made than Jamal Murray, so that's something. 1 for 2 in free throws, which sidetrack, I don't know if I said, but Jamal Murray was 5 for 5 in free throws, phenomenal in free throws. One thing that has been plaguing the Nuggets for a few seasons is free throws. So it's really good to be seeing that they've really started to make their free throws now in this regular season, this new season. So just need to get that out. But so Julian Strother also had 1 turnover and 3 personal fouls. And then we get to Russell Westbrook, Brody. He had the same amount of points as Strother, so 9. He had 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal. He was 3 from 7 from field goals, 0 for 1 in 3 points. Man, that shot that he tried to get off, I was praying to God that it was going to go in. And as soon as it didn't go in, I was like, damn it. It was so frustrating. Westbrook, I think the best we've seen so far of Westbrook in the Nuggets was that very first game in Abu Dhabi against the Celtics. Ever since then, he just, I don't know. I don't want to jinx anything, and I want to back him up because he has a Nugget now. But so far, I don't know. I'm still, the jury's still out. And again, like I've said before too, early on in the season, so he could ball out later on in the season. And as my in the previous episode here, when I was talking to my man D Hodge, he was also saying he takes a little bit to wind up, and so we'll hopefully around January we'll start to see that more from Westbrook. But so he was also 3 for 4 in free throws, so 75% there. One of the better ones. He had 2 turnovers and 4 personal fouls. So he was the one closest to foul danger. But then we have Peyton Watson, who had 6 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 block, He was 1 for 5 in field goals, and then 4 for 4 in free throws, which was nice, and then 1 turnover, 1 personal foul. So then we have Dario Saric. Good God. So Dario Saric, he played 4 minutes and 34 seconds, and you can tell why, because he just was horrible tonight. Like, I feel like at the way he played, it would have been better to get Zeke Naji in there, because at least Zeke has made some threes. He's been aggressive. Like, Dario should never have been on the court tonight. He had 1 rebound, 1 assist. He was 0 for 3 in field goals, and then he had 2 turnovers. Like, when I say he was sluggish and clumsy, like, that's just bare minimum. That's the kind of not even stating it correctly. Like, it was bad. It was really bad. But you have your bad game, so hopefully it's a wake up call. And tomorrow when they face the Nets, he's gonna play better. Fingers crossed. But yeah, so now kind of breaking down the game here. Talking about the first quarter, Nuggets getting off. They got off to a horrible start. Okay. They weren't rebounding, and that was a frustration that I know that Malone is already noted down, and he's making sure that this doesn't happen again, because it was really frustrating to see just how horrible they've been with rebounding, and not just defensive rebounding, but also offensive rebounding. There was so many times, and this has been very long standing for them. They shoot the ball, and then before it even hits the rim, they're already on the other side of the court. Like, why are you not going to try to get second points? Like, that may not go in, and if it doesn't go in, you still have a chance to get the ball, to get into the basket, to get some buckets and everything, some second chance points. And they never do that. They always toss the ball up, and then they're back on the other side. They give up so easily, and it's so frustrating as a Nuggets fan, because you don't see that with other teams. The Celtics, hell no. As much as I hate them, I gotta give them credit. I gotta give them props. They actually stick with the play. They in the OKC. I mean, nothing shows better than the in that first game, the home opener, when Aaron Gordon tossed it to who the fuck knows who, and it went down the backcourt, and SGA just stuck with it and got in some points. Like, stick with the play. It's so frustrating to see them do that. There was a lot of ball watching. Even I noticed that. There was just watching the ball. Oh, there's the ball. Okay, no, they got it now. All right, I guess I'll go to the other side. Like, come on, guys, wake the fuck up. They weren't attacking the rim, and they were allowing the Raptors to get to the rim. Like, there'd be a lot of times where the Raptors, they'd be battling it out for the rebound, and then they would just stop, and allowing the Raptors to get up for a layup or a dunk or whatever. And it was really getting frustrating there. Jokic was looking good with the threes still, which was nice. As I went through the stats there. So in the first quarter, there was a moment there where they didn't even contest RJ Barrett making a three. They left him wide open, and they could have easily contested it. They left him open, and it didn't a made shot. Like, just a lot of that. No offensive rebounding. It was horrible. And then see what's also in my notes here. So that we lost the first quarter by 1. The bench, if I can just go back to how bad the bench is, I know that's a kind of like a broken record here, but they are horrible. They look lost. That's one thing I noted down, is that they looked lost. They're doing their own thing rather than sticking to the plays. And you see that not just with the defense, but with the offense. Everyone is playing their own game. They're not playing a team game. They're all just trying to make the bucket happen. And instead of trying to find the open man, passing around, good ball movement, drawing the attention to one side and then getting the ball over to the open man. Like, they're not doing any of that. And that's something that you can see in OKC, in the Celtics. Like, how many times do the Celtics get space opened for Pritchard to get a 3 in, or for Hauser to get a 3 in? Like, the Nuggets need to step it up with their the bench. They are just super lazy. They look lost, and they're too selfish right now. Nuggets basketball is not about being selfish. It's about passing it around. One of the best quotes that I remember Jokic saying, especially, I think he said this last season or the year before, that he would rather pass the ball to someone, basically, assist someone in making a bucket than make it himself. Because when you do it yourself, there's only one person happy. When you assist in making that bucket happen, now you have two people happy. And so the bench needs to take that into consideration when they're playing, and just, work with each other. Like, even though you think you might have it, like, look around, assess, be more aware of your surroundings, and hold on to the ball. Like, pass it around, control it, and there's none of that right now. And then the second quarter, we were again leaving the Raptors open for 3 points. We lost the second quarter as well. So first quarter, it was 29-30. That's when it ended. And then the second quarter, if we look at just the points itself made in that quarter, it was 25-32. I think it was like a 10-point lead going into the half. And then the second half is when we started to pick things up. We actually won the third quarter 29-26, very close. Fourth quarter 31-26, still fairly close, I feel like. And then the overtime 13-11. So, like, this was a dogfight to the very end, and it didn't really need to be. Like, this is not to put anything against the Raptors again. Like, I enjoy the Raptors, but in all honesty, the Nuggets should have put this one away by the third quarter. Like, we should have had Zeke Naji and Jalen Pickett out there in the fourth quarter because had such a big lead. That's what would have happened last season. But this season, they're just too sluggish right now, and they're a lot of people aren't confident, and I don't know what's going on, and maybe something's being said in the practice or the team huddles and everything that's throwing people off. I don't know, but it doesn't feel like the same Nuggets that have been playing the last couple of seasons. So see if I look at more of my notes here. Third quarter, Jokic is fouled while MPJ. Oh, right. Okay. So in the third quarter, Jokic gets the ball to MPJ. MPJ, as I said before, so he had 1 for 4 in 3 points. He should have had 2 for 5 in 3 points. I don't know if they're counting this one or not in his percentage, because if they are, then it should actually be 2 for 4. But regardless, he went for a 3. He made the 3. At the same time he went for the 3, Jokic got fouled. And so then they went in to review it to see, and they determined that it happened before MPJ made the 3, and they took away the 3 points. Like, the Nuggets got fouled, and yet they were the ones that were penalized. That should have definitely been 3 points made. I don't like watching the replay. I don't agree that it happened before. Like, it kind of happened as the shot was happening, and then to say that no, the 3 doesn't count, and then that ended up in a turnover. Like, they went back to the side. Like, and that was another thing. Like, he got fouled and he didn't shoot any points. They took it to the sideline, and then it ended in a turnover. Like, that completely worked in the Raptors' favor there. There was a couple of those things, those plays that really almost were kind of fishy of how well they worked in the Raptors' favor rather than the Nuggets. And then in the fourth quarter is when that Barnes Russ heated exchange happened with AG as well. And then, of course, AG ended up being the one guarding Barnes afterwards. And another thing that was really frustrating, and this is something that was extended from last season as well that I've noticed, that Malone holds on to challenges. understand why he does, but he does, and it's so frustrating because you can't take the challenges with you into the next game. You have one challenge, and if you get it successful, you can get a second challenge. There was plenty of times where he could have challenged and he didn't challenge at all. Like, it was definitely like either a missed foul or a wrong call, and he didn't challenge any of it. It's always very frustrating to see him sit on his challenges. And then Barnes flopped and act like he got super hurt. And it was so laughable of how bad his acting is. And then they carried him off into the back. I think it was just to save face because he didn't actually get fouled and he didn't get hurt, but he was trying to sell it and trying to get a foul from the refs. But I mean, if he's going to do that, he needs to go to acting class because he was horrible, man. And then Murray hit the winning shot to send him into overtime, or the tying up shot that was sent him into overtime. And then there was a battle a little bit in the overtime. Like, we actually pulled ahead, almost had 10-point lead, and then we allowed them to get back into it. And then it was down to the wire. But lots to improve on from the Nuggets. I would like to see them turn the ball over less. I'd like to see them more aggressive when it comes to defense and to attacking the rim. I would like to see more confidence in them in shooting the ball rather than just giving up open looks to pass to someone else. I know there's a lot of pressure if you miss, but to at least show that you're trying means a lot. That's actually one thing that I was really happy that they went for a 2-point shot at the very end of the game rather than a 3-point to try to win it. Something like that would have been what they did last season, and it worked out for them 1 out of 3 times that they tried to do it. And so I'm glad that they played it safe this time. Just go into overtime. There's nothing wrong with going into overtime. They'll give you more time to gather up your motions and your strength and everything, and plan out how you're going to attack that last period, this little stint. So I'm glad that they went with the 2-point shot to get them into the overtime, but let's make sure that we don't have to go into overtime, that we build enough of a lead that we don't need that overtime, and it's not down to the wire. So they face like I said before, they face the Brooklyn Nets tomorrow, and hopefully that they clean up a lot of this stuff. And that's all I got for tonight. So we'll check you in tomorrow. You've been watching CS 105.1, where I talk about sports and movies with good vibes. We'll catch you tomorrow.